Hi and welcome to datatrainer.net. In this exercise we'll be looking at how to improve this bar chart. This was actually from a post by Dark Horse Analytics and you'll find a link below. In this blog post they take you through all the stages to make something as ugly as this look much better and actually convey a message much better as well. However, they don't actually show you the exact steps or how to actually do the steps. They just show you which steps to do. So what I'll be doing is just taking you through their steps and helping you along. Now what you can do as well is you can download the sample sheet from datatrainer.net or from the link below, and you'll be able to also follow along in an exercise. Alright, so the first thing they do is to say remove the backgrounds. So in this case it's to remove this background, so I'm going to right click here. There we go, right click, and here which is the fill, I'm going to change this to white. And also within the chart, within this mapping area, I'm going to do the same again and make it white. There you go, it's already a bit clearer. Now the next step is to remove redundant labels. So that's anything where the information is basically repeated twice in some way. So for instance, we've already got the names of all the foods here under the bars. So you might as well just delete this legend. So just do that by clicking it, pressing delete. Now you've got a lot more space, and usually one of the first things we try and do is delete the legends if we can. Where's some other redundant information? Here it says calories per 100 gram of different foods. Well, it's quite clear that these are different foods, so you don't need to include that. So we'll just delete that. Then some other redundant labels are, let's see, well, here it says number of calories, but they were already saying calories per 100 grams, so you don't need this axis label either. Delete it. Here again it says type of food, but it's quite clear when you're looking at this that it's actually types of food. So we'll delete that as well. Then the next step is to remove borders. You see these thick borders here, actually usually visually quite almost abrasive. So let's remove these. So again, I'm going to click here, right click, and you see where it says here the outline. That's what I'm going to change to no outline. The same again here for this area, outline, right click, say outline, no outline. There we go, already looking a little bit clearer. Then, and then they also taking away the borders from this as well. Borders seek to emphasize some area. So in this case, we don't want the chart area to be emphasized. We want the information within the chart to be emphasized, and that's what we're working towards. So once we've removed the borders, next step is to reduce the colors. So again, I suppose you need to know what the endpoint is here, and here they want to highlight the bacon component. So what they've done is change the rest, leaving the bacon red and changing the rest to grey. Now what you can do is, so sometimes if you want to select just one, it gets a bit tricky. But here, if you click a second time in this area, you'll have selected it, and it's really the same thing. So now we're just going to make the fill, change it to this grey. Outline, just say no outline. Okay, that is already selected. That's from when we removed the bordering. So now we can just say fill, grey. Click here again, right click, fill, grey. Right click, fill, grey. So now we've reduced our colors. The next thing is to remove any special effects. In this case you can see there's a slight shadowing, which again isn't necessary. So if you just click once, the whole series is selected. Maybe I'll show you a different way now. You see this chart tools becomes available whenever you're clicking on anything here in the chart. We'll say format. This is called shape effects. So at the moment, it's got some presets on, but we'll just say no presets. Let's say, sorry, say shadow, just make it flat. There we go. No shadows anymore. So that's gone. Then also they recommend remove all the bolding, because again, what you're trying to get the main bit of information. This is all peripheral information. So having just selected this heading so that the whole block is selected that way, then you can just say home and untick that B, unbolded. You can see this axis is also bolded. Now I'll do a shortcut, just say Control B. You can see here's the shortcuts whenever I press them. So if I say Control B, it automatically bolds it, Control B, unbolds it. The next step is to lighten all the labels. So in this case, rather than having this text as a default black, I recommend it you lighten it. And again here, lighten it. For me that feels maybe a bit too light. Might be difficult for some people to read, so I'll maybe just make it slightly more grey. But the main point is not to leave it as the default black, because that's very strong information again that comes through. Then they're recommending lightening these lines. So having these lights, just click on any single one of them and then they're all selected here. You can right click, and again it's the same idea, in that at the moment it's black, and then you can lighten it, for instance, to something like that if you really want something, like so. Or the next, or what they suggest is actually even just remove the lines completely, because often they're not needed. We'll show you why in a moment. Because I know what you're thinking is, if these lines are deleted, how are your eyes going to follow to which number on the side? But we'll get to that in a moment. So we'll just delete those lines. Then the next step is to, and then they're removing this bottom line as well. Outline, we'll just say no outline. Right? Then here is where you start having what's called direct labeling. This is very popular, and quite a nice way to do it is you want to basically have the values directly on the charts. So one way to do that is you add, if your whole chart is selected, go to here to data labels. And now you can select as well where they are. This is where this little side button is. So do you want it center, inside end, inside base, outside end? I would recommend you usually either do it outside end or inside end. In the example, they did the inside end. So now what that means is you can delete this redundant information. Then for formatting purposes, I just changed all of these labels. So again, if you select one like this and they are all selected, just to stand out a bit more, they made this white. And there you go. That's it. Now you can see this just looks much better. I mean, the information's clearer, it's crisp, it's clean, it's much more modern than what you went from. So I hope that helps. Have fun and keep practicing.